High Plains Technology Center, turning education and training into workplace success.
Oh, back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
High Plains Technology Center, education at the speed of business. School is now in session.
Well, here we are back Wednesday morning again. Took a 1-week hiatus, that thing we call Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a great one, but man, it's beginning to look a little bit like Christmas. I don't know about you. Have 2 guests on this morning. I'd like to bring on the new people on, give them interviews, talk to them. They're all nervous all the time, even though they shouldn't be. They're already hired. I mean, that's the easy part. But I'm going to let these 2 kind of introduce themselves. And I do always say some of my favorite people. And I've known these people outside before they were hired, so it is some of my favorite people. And I'm just kind of blessed to work with awesome people. So go ahead, introduce yourself.
I'm Megan Lashley.
Yeah, we kind of battled for it. We were talking about who was gonna not be on the mic. So here, I'll let you go ahead first, Logan. Introduce yourself.
My name's Logan Holt.
Is it? Is it really Logan
No,
Holt?
it's not. It's Logan
Yeah, it's so funny. I was waiting for that. I was going to say, well, how are we going to introduce ourselves? And here we are. We already, you know what, Caleb, sorry. You're not living up to the potential after only a week and a half. There we go. So go ahead.
Okay, my name's Logan Townsend, and I am the teacher aide with Service Careers.
All right, and
I'm Megan Lashley, the Service Careers Instructor.
awesome. So I want to say you guys are both in Service Careers. It has always been my favorite program. So that's some big shoes to live up to, too. They're both you two. But Megan, speaking of big shoes, tell a little bit about your journey, because some people might not really realize. Some people are kind of new to Woodward. Some kind of people are maybe new to the Rogers family with things. But what's your history, and whose shoes are you filling?
I'm filling my mom's job. 18 years ago, she took the job, and so I watched her with these kids, and it's always been a want of mine to. I just see what these kids bring and the joy that they bring, and this has always been my place that I wanted to end up.
That's awesome, because it was, we've always wondered, with everything, because, I knew that you were really involved in the program and everything, and we're glad to have you on. But man, big shoes though.
Big shoes.
But you kind of have a mentor that kind of comes around a lot, right?
Yes.
The stew dinner, someone was there a lot.
Yes.
The plant sale, is it going to be the same thing probably?
Of course. Yes, it is.
You're open anyway.
Yes.
And Logan, you've kind of been around. I've known you for a long time as well. So what was your journey to High Plains?
My journey looks a little different. I went to Stillwater and thought I was going to work there for a long time. Was looking for somehow to get back to Northwest Oklahoma.
North Best.
It's just
Best.
different here.
Yes.
Just the people. So started teaching English for a year, and then a special education job opened at the elementary there in Shattuck, and I fell in love with those kids, and then just kind of, when the High Plains job opened, I knew that was where I was supposed to be.
Maybe because the big guy, too. I don't know. Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
You saw the name that she claims. She claims Holt's name. She doesn't claim the Townsend name, but it is still new.
Yeah.
When was the wedding date?
November 23rd.
Yeah,
so
so
last Saturday.
we'll give you a little bit of flack with that and understanding. Are you used to writing it or anything yet, or?
Haven't had to write it much yet.
So are the kids calling? What are they still calling you?
Most of them have started calling me Townsend.
Okay,
and they
even
correct the other ones when they mess it up.
And here you are calling yourself Holt.
Yep.
I would much rather be called Townsend than Holt any day.
Oh, for
Just
sure.
go on the record. So the Service Careers program, it was, Mrs. Rogers for a long time. One of the best people I've ever been around, one of the best community contributors to the community, and an advocate that is just tough to replace and replicate. So if we have, you two there, it takes two to form one with things. But talk a little bit about the Service Careers program, because honestly, it is my favorite program. I love going in there as much as I can, and it just brightens my day. I know I don't go in there every day, but I walk by the snack bar, just say hi to my crew, it seems like. But talk a little bit about the Service Careers program, because there are multiple career majors, right?
Yes.
So what are those career majors in Service Careers?
Okay, so we have horticulture, and then we have landscape, and then we also have a teacher prep, which is pretty new. Mom started it, maybe 5-6 years ago. And that's our goal, is to continue to try to grow that into something bigger and better than what she did.
And the great thing is seeing how that is matriculated and gone on is, you see some of those kids and they're taking that leadership role and almost kind of a teacher's aide role at times, I think. Is that kind of what you've witnessed as you being new into it too?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we started a mentorship with Cedar Heights. And so we go over, I take those kids over because a lot of their focus.
Why Cedar Heights? I mean, come on.
I know.
Jeez. Just because it's across the way and it used to be your stomping grounds. I mean, let's play favorites. I'm partial to Highland Park. You're partial to Cedar Heights. It's okay, but go ahead.
So we go over there once a week to do mentorships. And so just the kids focus, they really like the younger kids. And so I try to give them as much experience in the classroom with that age group to make sure that's where their joy is.
Because your mom did it at one point in time at ECC back in the day as well, right? Because they used to go in the cafeteria, I know that, and help in there and hang out with the kids and stuff too. So that's just way cool because there, everybody says they want to be a teacher. Everybody, thinks it's easy at times, but you get your feet to the fire, it changes things as well, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what has been the biggest change from both of you coming from, the public ed elementary side to now?
I would say the hands-on aspect. As much in the classroom as I wanted to do everything hands-on, High Plains is just where it's at, and that's all we do is it's boots to the ground, and we're off running from the time they hit my classroom. So that's the biggest change, I would say.
I'd say just all the life skills. It's interesting watching the kids that maybe have coming from their school. They're like, oh, they don't really like school, and they come in our class and we don't have problems with them, but we don't do a whole lot of paper on pencil other than our safety test stuff. As far as that, it's just life skills. They're getting to, they get to cook, they get to work with customers, they get to count money in the greenhouse. Those kids flourish with just watching all the hands-on stuff. They just love it. So
the snack bar is way cool to see how the certain ones take a leadership role. My boy Blake, with things, but
and certain ones only certain ones, they have to make the popcorn because it's just right. So
it's on task.
It's cool. Their leadership. Their
and one of the sad things is because you get so attached to so many of the kids in there, and you always find out. Your mom would always say, "There's going to be another Frankie."
Right.
Right. Because there's just one that you just gravitate towards. It seems like there's going to be another Adam. There's going to be another Keegan. And things like that. And that is the hard thing, but it is the cool thing. And then you get to see them on out in public as well with that. So
and there's nothing that can bring you more joy than speaking with those kids and talking to those kids. They just are so happy. And,
no question.
Never have a bad day. And if they do, you know that you got
the best smiles and the most attentive and loving that I've ever been around to.
And they ask you every day, how are you? And they genuinely mean it. It's not, I feel like sometimes we all are like, how are you? And we're on to the next question, but they really want to know how your day is.
Do you ever tell them I'm just doing horrible?
No.
I just didn't know. I'm just doing bad. But then they'll give you a hug and you'll be okay. You'll be better. So with the snack bar, explain what's the hardest process for people to learn? Because, I think it's such an undervalued thing that you guys both do. And the kids love it. The WIN students really love it. I do know that. But what do you think is the hardest task for to kind of teach and to let everybody learn and grasp?
I think it's just kind of a constant moving. Every day it looks a little bit different. So
this thing called life.
So
and a job.
If you run out of biscuits and gravy, then they have to be able to be okay with, we don't have that, and they're going to answer that question a bunch of times if it's on
the customer service. That's what I was.
Just all the they get a lot of skills, but they're constantly learning and changing. So
because dealing with public.
Yes.
No matter who you are, what you are, and how much experience you have is one of the hardest things. And I think the communication skills that you're teaching far outweigh anything, in my opinion, with stuff. So what is the one thing that you're no one's listening right now, okay, by the way. No, I'm just joking. Everybody's listening, 100.1. But what's the one thing that you're a little nervous about teaching that's different than what you guys taught in elementary?
Well, we started woodwork.
Oh, okay.
The Christmas projects today.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was last week was my first week to use the saw.
All
and so
right.
now I'm teaching it, but I'm a professional. So that would be definitely a hurdle that was hard.
The beauty is, though, is you have someone people to rely on. It's
Yes.
not only Paik, but I'm
Yes.
sure it's probably some of those students that are helping you with that as well. So what's the project going to be? What? Because I still have the old trees that your mom's class made,
Well,
and I
it
know
was
the snowman.
it was supposed to be the trees.
Okay.
But then we were corrected because I guess they've done trees the last 3 years. And
Oh.
so they needed something different. So
Okay.
it's snowmen.
Okay, snowman.
We get
okay.
corrected a lot. They tell us what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay. Because they don't forget.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
No.
that's so using the bandsaw, is that what you're using right now? Or?
Yes, and the
Okay.
miter.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So.
Logan, are you getting good at that? I think you can make. I think you can make your husband something for Christmas.
Yeah,
Is what I
yeah.
think. Because he probably doesn't know how to use all that stuff. He just knows
Probably
how to show pigs, right? So, what's the one thing that has really you've seen the kids flourish on that kind of have shocked you? Because you're still both pretty new. I know you've been around the school. I mean, I say you're new. You've been around forever and seen it and witnessed it from afar. What's the one thing that you've seen the kids really flourish and take to that really kind of shocked you?
I would say day one, we came in and there was a boy that was in the afternoon class that was terrified of the cash register. And now he is my go-to. And I don't know if we ever found somebody to replace him. I don't know if he'd be okay with that. So he's totally taken leadership and pride in that area.
I was going to talk about leadership too, just like kids that are, some of our students are quiet and then we go do something and they just like take over and tell you all about it. And it's just cool to see that, the ones you don't think or even the ones that are leaders maybe take a different role and let other kids have that leadership role. So it's just cool to see them all work together.
That's cool. So what has been, because I ask everybody that's new, the sad thing is you guys, like I said, have been around forever. What's the one thing that has shocked you about High Plains in general that you were aware of but not really truly aware of?
I think just the willingness of everyone to help, no matter what we're doing, whether I'm doing the snack bar, whether I'm in the classroom, whether I just have a random question. Like everyone's just so good about helping and offering advice.
You have to be careful on who's offering advice or you're asking advice from is the problem because you might go left to center real fast. I think.
And I would say teamwork too. We used Paik with the saws. Leanne's done some picture things for us, and then Rodney helped with a student's car that had wasn't starting or wasn't running right, and so it's just that teamwork that we have together that everybody's willing to jump in.
It's pretty cool the resources that we have,
yeah.
and the willingness, like you said, because it isn't everywhere. I know you're new, but if you go to some of those other places, you really realize how special it is. And, everybody thinks we're beating a dead horse and talking about things left and right all the time, but it truly is different. It comes from the top. It comes from the ball guy. So the name you still want to claim. But no. So since it's Christmas time and you're not going to be back on here, I'm going to make Megan be back on here, maybe with Logan. I don't know, about talking about the plant cell because that is a
Hopefully they're
huge
still
thing.
alive.
You talk about pressure. I know you felt pressure at the stew supper. No, there's not going to be anything bigger pressure than that plant cell. Just so you know, there's ladies right now going, he's right. Yeah, it better be good. But anyway, since it is Christmas time and since we're winding down here, what's the number one thing that you love about Christmas right now? Don't go first. You go first. Come on, Logan.
I think just the downtime, spending time with family, not having a schedule, and getting to connect with friends or whoever, just kind of having time away to appreciate what you have. Sometimes I get caught up in the day-to-day, going to work, doing the stuff, and really getting away for a couple weeks and coming back, I'm ready to work.
And having to really get to know your new husband.
Yes. Lots of quality time.
Yes. So, and mine would be the same thing, just spending time with the family. and just soaking in all that time with just that precious time that, you're never guaranteed. And so just that would be probably
And
what
you
I'm
both
looking
have
forward to.
fabulous families.
Yes.
Honestly, you're both fabulous people. Thank you for what you're bringing to High Plains. We're excited and glad to have you both officially on staff. So, all right. We'll see everybody next week. Enjoy your morning.